Good morning. This might be the last time I'm on the show.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard, but this morning, breaking news, I've been elected Speaker of the House.
Thank you.
Good.
Congratulations, Carl. I always had my money on you. I just love when the New York Times uses the word desperate in their headline. Facing a third day of voting, Kevin McCarthy offers fresh concessions to hard right rebels in a desperate effort to be elected House Speaker. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. What's that line from Broadcast News, Albert Brooks? If only sweaty desperation made you attractive.
Right.
It's almost like the last couple days, while the media's been describing McCarthy and the rest of the caucus as the moderates, it's almost like that isn't true at all.
Yes. What are the? Oh, first of all, this one key McCarthy ally appears ready to throw in the towel. He said there is more than 4 who will never vote for him. But he is just desperately giving away the store, right? He's like, you can fire me anytime. I don't. What was the other thing? Something to do with It's just he has nothing left to give, does he?
I think what he doesn't realize is that they've already fired him.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yes.
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
No, I mean he could give them everything, right? He could make them chairs of committees. But I think what we've learned here is that if he manages to get elected Speaker, that will be the only thing and the easiest thing he accomplishes as Speaker.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
not going to get anything else done.
Yeah. I mean, Senator Murphy tweeted, the problem is this isn't just today. This is going to be every day in the House Republican majority. It's not just that they won't be able to govern, it's that they're going to be an embarrassing public train wreck while they refuse to govern. I mean, it's almost like they have no intention of governing anyway.
It's adorable that people still think that they want to govern.
Right.
Right.
They have no interest in that. And look, these 20 Republicans, 21 Republicans, even if it's 15 Republicans that are keeping the leadership vacuum in place, are really just exposing what this caucus has been about for quite a long time, about not getting things done. It is not. They're also not necessarily the most thoughtful people. It's not like Kevin McCarthy is any different than they are ideologically. So we'll see what happens. I expect we'll have a couple more votes today, and we'll have no resolution.
Fantastic. Yeah, Ellie Mistal said, people saying that Dems are going to get tired and leave to make McCarthy Speaker really don't know about the recuperative powers of watching a guy who threw his hat in with people who came to your office to kill you suffer repeated humiliations.
No, that has a tremendous way of resulting in Dems in array.
Yeah, yes. That's what their goal is, to make Democrats more united. Mission accomplished, right?
Yes, very much so. And I think it just shows the American people why they gave the president a larger Senate majority, and how gerrymandering is detrimental to the democracy.
Yeah. By the way, Santiago Mayer said, just a reminder, Nancy Pelosi had just as small a majority as Kevin McCarthy does. She never lost a vote. I mean, we've all here said, of course, I think she's the greatest speaker in the history of the House. But, oh, my God, we're only on day 3, and it's apparent, right?
You will not see John Boehner appearing at any Kevin McCarthy retirements and crying about how effective he was. That will not happen. But you're right. I mean, Nancy Pelosi had what I would argue a much more ideologically diverse caucus than the Republican caucus, and she managed to get things done, not only for President Biden, but for President Obama too, and kept the caucus in line against President Trump.
Let's talk about alternatives. Politics Girl, who we love, said, so David Duke without the baggage Scalise, or Jim, I think this pregnant 10-year-old rape victim is a liar, Jordan, will be third in line to the U.S. presidency. Is that where we are on the 4th speaker vote? Nice job, Republicans. Top-notch talent. I mean, it's hard to say what's going to happen now, isn't it?
Well, I imagine they will eventually settle on whoever these 20 hardliners, quote unquote hardliners. I refuse to call them the rebels because that puts Star Wars in a bad position. Whoever these folks want, and that is also agreeable. But the first step of that we won't know who that is until McCarthy throws in the towel. When McCarthy decides that he is not going to be speaker and that nothing he does will make it happen, which will likely be a conversation prompted by his closest allies. His closest allies will probably have to work out a couple names that are amenable to them, and see what these 20 others think as well.
Speaking of Steve Scalise, I had totally forgotten this, but Lindy Lee tweets, "Never forget that a black lesbian police officer courageously took a bullet for Steve Scalise, Republicans' backup speaker. She literally saved his life, and then he voted against her marriage. Enough bloody said."
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
yeah, it just, I hate to say, I mean, that's why these shirts are for sale at StephanieMiller.com. Republicans, they really are that horrible. I mean, they're all different kinds of horrible, like snowflakes, aren't they?
Well, that's what I'm saying at the beginning. Like, there's not a whole lot of difference between any of them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Kevin McCarthy's less conservative because he doesn't just say crazy things on Twitter all day long like Lauren Boebert?
Carl, what does this say about Donald Trump? I love Santiago said Donald Trump has really got a thing for endorsing losers. I mean, what are the chances Kevin McCarthy loses by more votes after Trump says, okay, time to make a deal?
I think it's highly likely that McCarthy's going to have to pull his name from contention, and Donald Trump will blame McCarthy, of course. He will stop blaming the breakaway faction, and he will start blaming McCarthy for not closing the deal.
Yeah.
You know, that's all going to come in due course. As I was saying, like, eventually we're going to hear that McCarthy is pulling his name from contention, or that that's being reported.
Yeah.
And then the people on his side will come up with some names and see if the faction is okay with them. And then they will do a quick vote and get it over with.
Yikes. Can I just say, this is, of all the statements of the Office of the 45th Bassinet, this one, wow. So he's trying to spin this current chaos unfolding in the House as a good thing. It's a real good thing what you did. He not only did he suggest that it's a good thing for the speakership, sure. Also, it's a good thing for his re-election bid. Listen to this. Had to ice down his tiny mushroom-shaped groin after this, I think. He said, a big Republican victory today, after going through numerous roll calls that failed to produce a Speaker of the House, has made the position and the process of getting to be Speaker bigger and more important than it were if it had been done in the more traditional way. Wait, watch this stretch. Then he said, the Republican cost, much like me, again becoming president after having won big in 2016, gotten many millions more votes in 2020, but supposedly not winning, big lie, and then winning again in 2024, it'll be bigger than the traditional way. Wow. That is a stretch. That is a spin.
You wouldn't think somebody like that would be that stretchable.
Right. That bendy.
I don't know who seems more desperate, him or McCarthy, but it is kind of glorious to watch, isn't it? Are we bad liberals for enjoying it this much?
Well, I'm sure that McCarthy can get a job at Mar-a-Lago when this is all over.
Okay. Well, what's your prediction on when? Today? This you think he
No.
does or no?
I think they will try. Look, if McCarthy can't pull it off, I think he will try to do something over the weekend. You know, when he knows that there's going to be less media scrutiny over it, they'll try and figure it out. And if they can't figure it out over the weekend, I think Monday we'll start hearing reports that people within his orbit are pushing him to knock it off, and that other names are being floated.
Yeah. It's glorious. It's all glorious.
Nothing's going to change because this faction is not out for some legislative win or some process win. They don't want Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah. It's fantastic. Rocky Mountain Mike wins Twitter. He said President Biden has just released 150 million gallons from America's strategic popcorn reserves. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. There can't ever be enough popcorn jokes at this particular. It was like the Democrats became like just a caucus of carrot tops, right? Everyone went for the popcorn prop.
Yeah. Well, the other side is Gallagher, right? Like they're getting their mess on everyone.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.